at which point we had a bit of a tiff with the Eastern Satrap, the sort of god king, the shaky alliance between the Broken Kingdoms, wherein we were from, and the Eastern sort of kingdoms. We tried to get through. They weren't really keen to allow 2,000 plus refugees and soldiers just like waltzing through the territory, especially given the precarity of the treaty. We did manage to get the people through most of our refugees. We lost some soldiers, got them mostly out of the Eastern Satrap. But now there's a bounty on each of our heads for 1 million gold pieces. The treaty has been broken. The God King's army is coming towards the Broken Kingdom from the other side. Who knows whether or not they'll confront the orcs. And so then we decided to leave the group. We entrusted, I guess, the soldiers and the refugees to Captain Herbert, who's the captain of the guard who had come with us from Oxenhold. So we left him to take these people to safety as best they could. We've been sort of orchestrating from afar through sort of Josh's back and forth a little bit, a sort of final defense at Bleak Redoubt, which is one of the more defensible holds in the Broken Kingdoms. It's sort of up on a mountain with a number of winding paths, so it's really difficult terrain to move through. So it's easy for sort of hit and run tactics. The leader of Bleak Redoubt, Baroness Keir Bleak, has recently just won a war in the Underdark, so she's pretty awesome at that kind of shit, we figure. Something interesting about her, but I'll let Josh talk about that. But yeah, so the general plan, we also just became aware of was we were now going to head to where the star fell, hoping that there may be a giant Looney Tunes cannon there to help us deal with the god.
Indeed. So Josh, pick it up from there, if you
Cool.
don't mind.
Yeah, well, so as you can imagine, we turned around and proceeded without any trouble arising whatsoever, apart from the small thing that happened as we immediately tried to leave camp, and our people turned on us, realizing that we were the source of all of their problems, and had just brought two armies clashing together, had brought the vengeance of a god down. They decided not to travel with us because we were weird, and one of us ate people and another one of us mutated into a giant horrific goat person, and the other one summoned lightning storms that indiscriminately struck people, like mostly friends, and the other one managed to get struck by said lightning storm and was just totally chill about the whole thing, and brought Medusa horses through. So having had enough of this, they sort of like kind of banished us or tried to cash in the bounty on our head. So we fled, but not before we had a run-in where it sort of happened to occur that Cord may or may not be connected rather directly with the clandestine, who are horrible, horrible people, like the worst people, and they are essentially there to kill all magic users. They are just like have risen to power in the last 200 years and just oppressed everyone. They're horrible, and Cord, you know, BFF was with them. So Cord and his friend told us that we had to essentially surrender all of our magic user friends to them, and we had to do loads of terrible things, like renounce our gods, and we went no and killed Cord's friend, and Cord sided with us in the end, so everything was good. Algan was on side, and then we decided we'd head into the mountains to try and slip between the two armies, make it along the mountain range, and well, then Mitch happened, and now we have stumbled upon an ancient vampire coven, more ancient than any, more ancient and more powerful than any I've ever encountered.
It's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame of vampires. Like, they're all there, they're all chillaxing, and they've all decided, you know what, this world's kind of screwed up and fucked, so how about we all, instead of spending time in the material plane, we instead go and live in the astral plane. So they've got a real strong connection to the astral plane, and after some flukiness and us giving Algan to them as a vampire spawn, sort of against his will, Yeah, we like cool. We got permission to travel through an astral gate into Asgard with permission from the gods, who in turn are apparently all dying because of Moldark's fuckery. And the last thing we saw. Well, I'll let someone else explain the last thing we saw, because I wasn't there and I didn't see it.
I think Cord should explain himself.
Yes.
All right, so
Just in general, explain.
I guess this is a good place to talk about Algan. Algan, this entire series he has been bent and broken in the name of the clandestine to work for them. The clandestine, Josh said, are horrible people who condition others to be agents of these witch hunters. The Fey-born high elf Algan was conditioned at a young age when he traveled in on a scouting party from the Fey, and this party picked him up early on, thinking they rescued him from imprisonment in one of their camps, but in fact it was just his training camp. He has been a sleeper agent for a while, and that's when they met up with Kunar. And Kunar, out in the satrap, in the sands, in the desert wastes, spoke with Algan to try to get to Garen, the half-orc shaman in the party, and the cleric, really. And he through some conflict and some beautiful role play between all of us, we got a meeting for Garen to sacrifice and forsake his gods and his powers, and that's when everybody turned on Algan fought Algan and Kunar, and Algan turned on his master there, swearing his allegiance to his new friends, the party. Last episode, we went into this vampire tomb. He reached out his hand to this ancient vampire because the vampire offered him the gift of vampirism, and he said sure. Algan being Algan, a liar and a deceiver, he went to remove the curse upon this ancient person, trying to stop him, sapping his power so that he could kill them as a mortal. Did not work. He was too strong and too fast for Algan, kissing Algan in the neck, Algan turning into a vampire thrall for this ancient one. The rest of the session, Algan followed this guy around, knowing how to stop him, just looking, and hopefully he can, or for the right opportunity so he could. After he was bitten, he went to sharpen his broom, or he started rubbing his broom on the rocks as he was talking to them, and then he left it there. They waltzed into the cave and continued the story. And the last thing we saw, Algan he tried to trick his vampiric master. He says, I'm thirsty, I must feed. Will you lead me? Or will you show me? And he held out his hand, expecting the vampiric master to give him his hand, so he can lead them through to where it goes, so he can fight him instead and be broken of the curse. Didn't work. He instead turned around and showed him a table of blood-filled goblets and said, "You can't fool me that easily. You're with me forever. I will not. You can't trick me, blah, blah, blah." So due to Iragwen, viewer in chat, she gave me a broom, or gave Algan a broom that he can call within a mile away. He left the broom outside of the cave. He's been sharpening it as well. So he calls the broom, and as it flew through, it stuck this guy, the ancient vampire, through his back, out his stomach, and Algan thought he had won, but that is when this ancient vampire grabbed onto Algan, grabbed his hand finally, when Algan had his hand extended, and pulled him close, spearing both of them on Algan's broom. And I believe he whispered something like, I don't know, it was something badass. But anyway, yeah, he whispered something into the vampire's ear. He says, I knew when I met you I would be the one to defeat you. Thank you, master. And yeah, so that's that was the last thing we saw, is this slow, choir singing in the background shot of these two guys just in a lovely embrace, just covered in blood, as well as they're both these vampires dying to the Fey magic broom in Algin's hand.
All right then, so that's exactly where we left off, and the results from the straw poll are in. Do we make Josh sing? Will is the best is the answer.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Feels pretty. Yep. No, nothing. It's been confirmed. Nothing
Feels.
else can change my mind. Followed closely by a second, which is yes. So yes, Will is the best. So as we start this adventure, as Algan has speared himself, he's become completely kebab, along with his former master, vampire Artemis, and the two of them have been speared through with the broom, sharpened to a point, and the other three are actually transporting themselves to through into Asgard, which has fallen, to meet with Melora, the goddess who is dying, and who her guardian, who may or may not be. Oh, is Twitch alerts not working? Let me check that out for you boys. Sorry. May or may not be working. So, yeah, you guys are launching themselves through.
We were having a chat with the Guardian of Melora, I believe.
May or may not be Duncan from season 1, episode 1 and 2 before.
Was it episode 1 and 2, or was it like the
no,
one?
it was 1 and 2, and then we were James.
I thought that was his second character. Oh no, that was his first day. Right?
Yeah, Melora's guardian was like a tall, blonde-haired, braided, full plate fellow with a goatee.
Yep.
For those who don't know, season 1.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. So the XP for some reason, Twitch alerts is working. I've had everything working today, but I have received something in my PayPal, so whether it's delayed or something, because it's been working all day. So David, today's £4. I don't know what you said, David, so just whisper it to me. I'll put it in chat there. But thank you, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's about where you guys were. You're having a conversation with this guardian, as you looked over and saw this man speared through, and back in the scene here as we begin, you notice that Algan just
Wait, is a song happening?
Is his song happening?
Is a song happening?
Yeah, well, the straw poll said Will is the best, and then yes, so.
Yeah.
We'll get it at the end, because there might be time to add another verse in before the end. I think that's what we should do.
It's up to chat. It's entirely up to chat. I'll leave it at that.
I think you should sing.
Shut up.
Well, Beth says we should sing. So.
Well, Bev says.
I feel.
Is there time when we see Algan get skewered, kebabbed, which is a nice verb to coin here, to kebab. Is there time, because he's fairly close to us, because we were sort of standing there, or did you walk off to have this conversation?
He was off slightly in the corner of the room having. Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't that far off.
You're not
but...
like hundreds of yards away.
Yeah, so
let me go ahead. First of all, XP says inspiration for each player. So thanks so much, XP, for your generous donation. Let's give him.
I will use that this
gold.
session. I promise.
Why am I always Norwood? God damn it.
I'm gonna try and use that right now.
Cool. So yeah, you.
Can I ask you one quick question before some dice at the table? So the vampires played Ring Around the Rosie and sent us through a magic portal to the astral plane. So where are they in relation? Like, are we halfway between the material and astral planes? Did the Guardian come to us? Did we go to him and the vampires?
Yeah, I think that was just about to happen, really. He was just about to send you off. And so...
okay, so we're still surrounded by vampires.
And then you kind of feel yourselves... as you turn over, you look over, and there's like a gasp from the room. As you kind of turn over your heads, and you see Algan and Artemis the vampire just like through the heart, this stake through the heart, essentially. And they crumble into dust almost instantaneously. You see them fall down and become kind of ash and dust. And as that happens, you begin to feel yourselves going no longer from this place. The vampires are kind of like turning on you guys at this point, looking for a some retribution perhaps, because you're clearly involved with this guy. And as that happens, the Guardian just steps forward, kind of reaches out his hands towards the group of you, and the three of you are enveloped in a very, almost foamy white light, which is pretty foamy.
Like packing foam.
Kind of frothy. And yeah, it's
Not like peanuts.
no peanuts are involved.
It's James's character, so yeah.
Yeah. And you are taken away from this place, but we don't follow your trail at this point. In fact, we're with Algan in this scene. Whilst Algan's material plane body, of course, turned to
He's in
ash.
ash.
He's in ash form.
Feels ash, bro.
He's ashen, man. He's actually become a drow. He's that ashen right now, and we see him wet and on a shore, on a dark shore, and Algan's body, as we knew it before, but kind of translucent skin. He looks much different. The sky out here is a thick green, and the shores themselves are dark and black. As he kind of comes on here, there are a bunch of other lost souls, those dead, turning up here in Nilfheim, the land of the dead. It's very cold down here. There's no wind whatsoever, and everything is very still. And as you come out on this shore, it takes him minutes to cough up the black seawater from his lungs, and begin to come to his feet. And as we see him come to his feet, we see a figure waiting for him on the shore. And Gord, would you like to go ahead and describe this figure?
Sure. On the shore, there is probably picking through the bones is a big gaunty character made up of bones and looks like capillaries and veins as well, holding this thing together. But on his shoulders is a little gnome, and a little gnome-sized person who's wearing a tall bone crown that doesn't look like it fits his head. He wears what looks to be a pallid cloak of dead skin, and he kind of like looks over at Algan, and it seems as if he's got like his face is a little more sunken in than it used to be. His mustache, which used to be brown and chestnut in color, is now gray and white, and also wisps much like a cloud would, like trails and stuff. As he like kind of, it takes a minute for it to like catch up to his image when he like looks around, and then like in sort of an echoey voice, he goes, hello, a newcomer.
There's a coughing and splashing from Algan. Hacks up some of this black water, and you see like on the shore there are other people like coughing up as well, and these other lost souls ferried from the world above down here. And
it seems as if the Raven King has brought me more. Thank you.
Algan looks up at you as you're on this body of bones and skeleton kind of construction. He says, "Where am I?"
You are in Nilfheim. In the land of the dead, my friend.
Algan nods and says, "So, I could not restore balance."
Nope, doesn't seem like it.
It's a kind of regretful look. Nilfheim, not to be, by the way, confused with Milfheim, which is a completely different series on Live Jasmine, if you're interested in that.
Nilfheim.
Nilfheim, yeah. It's
It's the land of the dead.
Oh my god.
Land of the dead dreams. That's good.
Oh my lord. So, dear God. He says, but my task wasn't finished. I have much to do still.
And what was your task? I mean, we got a lot of things here,
And he like takes out a notebook. Here,
put me down, Chunk. I'm falling.
and like the thing just goes, and, like just one hand just puts him on the ground.
Thank you.
And then he like takes out like this notepad, and he like flips through it as if it was like a manila notepad, but it's just sheets of dead skin, and he's just like flips.
What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Algan Nalo.
Algan. Okay. Algan Nalo. Yep. Okay. I don't have your record here. Are you from Atonica?
No, I'm from the land of trees and mystics.
Oh, you're Fae. That sounds Fae to me. Pretty Fae.
And you like look over at Chunk, and Chunk's like,
So you're from the Feywield. We've been there before. Oh man, your squirrels are huge and awful. Let me tell you.
They are great beasts.
Yep. Well, anyway, so what is your duty? Is there anything I could like help you with? Because like if you have unfinished business, I have to let you go back.
Oh,
So,
yes,
like-
I have to save the world, restore balance to us.
What?
The
What does that
Raven
mean?
King, when he brought down the sun, heaven, crashed into Atonica, I swore that I would restore balance. My work is not yet.
What? The Raven King brought what happened? He brought the Asgard. The Asgardians are walking around on Atonica right now.
Well, they crashed into it. I don't think anyone's walking after that.
But you're saying the land of the humans and the walking, where I get my souls, are now tainted with the Asgardians. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, and what's this Raven? What's Moldark doing? What's he up to?
He's killing
I mean, I haven't seen
everyone.
him in quite a while.
He's working his way through the continent, killing everyone as he goes. The old gods are supposedly dead and dying now.
Oh. Well, I mean,
which
so
means-
that means if we have, okay, if the old gods are dying, that means the new gods are coming, which means I could be a god, right? But I have to kill the old gods. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. How about you? You stay here with Chunk here,
and I like try to take off the helmet, and I can't. And I like take off the dead skin cloak, and I like drape it over Chunk.
Yeah.
And he is an imbecile and doesn't quite understand. He goes,
you take care of things. Just
and like gives him the notepad and like a quill made of bone, and he's like,
you just report. Let them know. Just usher them in, and the lady they go just the lefties go over there and the righties go over here. I got to keep them separate. All right. I'm gonna head up. And I'm gonna try to. I'll take care of this, and I'll be back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And you, Faye dude.
Yes.
Is there anything I should know before I head up there? Like any?
There's a Tarrasque.
A what?
A Tarrasque. Only I can bring balance.
Is there anything else there, buddy? Or are you just gonna speak like a broken record?
There's a Tarrasque. And
And you bring the balance.
I bring the balance.
Okay. All right. Well. All right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna. All right. Let's see.
and I'm like, at this point, I've stepped into like the rowboat,
Yeah.
and I'm like trying to figure out how to make it go upstream.
Boy.
And I'm like standing, and I'm like, slunk, and I fall. But he's like trying to keep balance on the boat as well as try to like kick it off of the shore.
Yeah.
Okay, Chuck. I'll be back. Algan, just make yourself at home because you're here forever. Okay. Bye.
And then
Okay. Picks up Alvin.
Yeah.
All right then. So let's cut back to our companions in Asgard, I suppose. But actually, before we do, I remind you guys, if you haven't tweeted, because I should say this, if you haven't tweeted, and you can make a viewer decision happen by retweeting our tweets. Once it hits 25 retweets, you guys get to decide anything which happens. We're already at 10, blimey. That's exciting. And if you haven't followed already, hit that follow button and join us. There are 9 shows every single week. This Saturday, we have a 24-hour D&D stream. It's not just any 24-hour D&D stream. It's our birthday stream. A 1-year anniversary altogether.
Birthday suits.
Birthday suits are required, so make sure you turn up then. You find yourselves in a disquiox. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar. You guys heard what I said.
I was gonna break open the monster manual and
You were
see what
gonna
hell
go
that
for
was.
the disquiox there, weren't you? Fuck a disquiox. They only come at equinox. So yeah, you
It's Quixote.
Yes, indeed. You find yourselves in a palace, but the palace is not a nice one. It's rubbly and crumbly, much like a pudding, but it doesn't look tasty at all because it's made out of stone. An apple crumble, specifically, with the stones being the paste.
Buddy, are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Do you smell burnt toast?
I smell apple crumble. Is that any better?
Something entirely different.
Well, yeah, you find yourselves in a palace which appears to be falling down. As I thank Ground Fog for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. And in fact, there is a low-lying ground fog in the crumbly palace.
What's the state of our bodies? So we just got.
Yeah.
We're
Sexy, but not like we're trying too hard. We're trying, but it's almost effortless.
Your bodies and bodices are intact, and in fact, you might usually come to think of astral travel as being like a really kind of like, oh, my body is churning, my entire body is like throwing up or something. But as you travel with the Guardian, it's like a safe hand on the tiller. And there's very little kind of turbulence as your bodies are kind of, there's like 5 or 10 seconds, it feels like a lot longer, where you're traveling through, and it doesn't feel like you're like, oh my god, I'm dying. It feels more like I'm just floating, and there's no gravity in this place that we're traveling through.
So it's like upgrading from like economy Ryanair to British Airways first class. Yeah.
That's your
Where
method.
you're not sure if you're dying, but you're like, I'm floating. All right.
Floating, so I can't die.
Or if I'm traveling economy, I can't.
And the floating feeling doesn't actually go, because you kind of look down at your feet, and you are actually kind of lightly floating on the surface of the world at this point. Gravity clearly has a different effect in this place, and as you kind of look around this palace, there is kind of this fog everywhere, which is like yellow and glowing, as you saw from much of Asgard from the distance. And there are actually kind of like holy rays coming through, like gaps where the walls have like tumbled down. But clearly this place has been kind of, almost as if it's crashed into a different planet. And its holy walls have been breached.
Sundered?
Sundered is a good word.
Broken, maybe?
Sundered.
Can I rock some kind of religion check just to know any form of rumor or story or folkloric legend about something that resides or is held in Asgard? It doesn't necessarily have to be a giant Looney Tunes canon, but just like I want to see what Alex knows about what goes or exists in Asgard other than just.
Where do they keep like the tap that unleashes the great?
Yeah.
That sort of.
We're looking for, if this was a bad reimagining of Greek mythology in the cinema, we're looking for the sword of Sparta or the bow of Olympus.
Yeah.
Sword.
The spear of destiny, all that jazz. It's all like one cupboard, and we need to know the location.
It's all in the belly of the Tarrasque.
Damn it! Don't say these things.
I rocked a disappointingly mediocre 12 on my religion.
So on a 12, you you know very little about this really. But you know, it's clearly some kind of palace. You can identify that. So something or someone is worshipped here. The Guardian doesn't appear to be with you at this point, and actually it starts raining. And you have to overlook this, but it is golden rain, and it is golden rain due to the fact that everything around here seems to be golden, and in fact the fog is kind of golden, yellowy kind of tint to it. It tastes like normal rain if you try.
Good. That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, it's actually Tarrasque pissing all over you.
I take off my incredibly high Polaroid glasses and everything returns to a normal color. I'm like, guys, you might wanna. I mess with the contrast settings and everything. I guess
Saturation.
Yeah, saturation is so high.
Speaking of saturation, this rain, wow.
Elvis isn't quite yet with you.
Yeah, I know.
Just in case
Sure.
you.
I am.
Oh, he's
Just freaking everybody out.
yeah. So before you find yourselves,
I start to question the golden rain.
yeah, you see, you find yourselves in this palace,
Take that, fucker.
and there's actually just one kind of corridor leading onwards, kind of rising upwards a bit into a chamber beyond where a lot of this fog is coming from, essentially.
Alex is going to turn to Garen, I guess, and sort of say quite solemnly, this is a realm you're more familiar with than I am. I'll need you to take the lead on this one.
Thank you so much, Scarlet Star. That's £3, 1 pence. Well done on getting through your exams. A pocket crit for King Canada. Thanks so much, Gareth.
Hey,
We don't need that, I'm sure.
that's great.
Thanks so much.
Garen will nod and go, I think in this realm, I believe it may no longer be the time for our subtlety. It's time to find ourselves on bold action.
I throw a cautioning look to Alex. I'm like, you know where this is going.
So I want to just have asked, because we're still with the Guardian, right?
The Guardian is no longer with you now.
Oh damn! I wanted to ask him some questions. Oh well, we've got a direction to go in. Garen will purposefully stride because, well, salvation or death.
All right.
Yes.
Oh,
What's writing
Christ.
happens.
Kane actually knows something about some stuff about Malor being a sort of ranger, but spending his whole life sort of as sort of hunting humans and the various other sort of creatures. Everything was sort of he considered himself, top of the food chain, and that's sort of what Malor's all about. So he's gonna try and keep abreast with you and try and step in if anything goes terribly wrong.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Finn, I'm gonna give you inspiration as well, I guess, just as we're walking in.
Alrighty, I will note some bardic inspiration.
Some bardic inspiration. It's a D8, and you'll say, you said, we're gonna need some bold action, and I'll give you one of your favorite refrains from my quote book. Yes, the lightning which explodes and fashions cosmic worlds resides also in his breast, and I'll give you a compassionate pat on the shoulder.
Garen nods because he doesn't have as fancy a phrase.
Garen hits the word breast, not right into the room.
Garen hears the word lightning and goes, hey. Yeah, I think he kind of yeah, that was so good. Sorry, my impression was small. But yeah, he'll kind of grab you both by the shoulder, solemnly nod, and ever onwards. And yes, we stride into the glowing white light at the end of the hallway that is almost certainly there. And into... Tell me about the space, William.
There's so much space. I like to say, you guys aren't really walking, you're hovering.
Yes.
And you kind of take strides, and it's like the floor is
Staging.
several inches above where it should be. And it feels kind of like...
The levitate spell in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes to Gwen. To your secret question of killing the party. just so you guys know, as a preface to whatever happens next, Gwen donated £50 on the 12-hour stream just as we were finishing up, and so she has a big reward to cash
This
in
went
as
so
to
well last time.
anything happens.
Shit.
So
That's great.
who knows? So yeah, basically, you head into this room, like I say, very holy in here, and in fact, you know, you're almost humbled, even those unholy amongst you. And you see a woman, and she's on a bed, and she's a very beautiful woman. She also looks very kind of fragile at this point because it appears that she's bleeding a lot, but she's not bleeding blood. She's bleeding this kind of golden liquid.
Icon?
Almost like molten gold is like pouring from her heart and falling down onto the floor and this kind of in these pools and creating this kind of mist and fog as it's kind of storming, and it's like gaps in the ceiling where this rain is coming down from. You hear the storm all around you, and you look at her. She's a blonde woman, kind of long locks, and she's kind of like tucked up in bed at this point, barely sitting up. Kind of like leaning back in like loads of pillows around her, and there's very little else in the room. There appears to be an altar, very small kind of font used for kind of basic prayers, and there's no other furniture. The bed is of course huge on account that this woman isn't just the normal size of a woman, maybe 5 or 6 feet. She's about 30 feet tall. And huge. The bed itself is huge. The room itself is rather huge. And
The faithful sense of scale.
yes, and everything in this room is floating, even the bed.
Lady's got a thing. All right.
And she
I
doesn't
can
really-
respect a strong, consistent brand.
Yeah, she kind of opens her eyes kind of faintly as you step in the room, and casts an appraising eye over the three of you.
Yeah. Darren will like kind of, I guess he does some maybe not a bow, but like some gesture of like some older religions kind of show of respect, like I think drops like halfway to a knee and like extends his palms, and greetings, Lady of the Wilds. We come seeking aid.
She speaks in a kind of booming voice, though it's soft, so there's not a lot of like natural bass to it, but it seems like it's projected. And she says, "You are the ones that the Guardian brought down."
That would be us.
She says, "What are your names?"
Why am I always the introduction guy? I am Garen Stormforged. These are my friends Alex Talamis and Kane Hollow.
Kane bows.
And
And he touches a scrap of it's actually like he has a necklace of like teeth and a variety of other things, but he touches the tooth of his first ever animal he killed on his own, and he touches that as a sign of respect to the great huntress.
So she says, "How can I help?"
Well, the bastard whelp of a god runs amok on our land, has brought ruin to yours, and we seek the power to stop him. And if we can't accomplish that, at least wreak some vengeance.
I see. How do you intend to do this?
Well, we have braved armies and creatures of unfathomable age and power because our final hope lay in heaven. But something here would hold some secret to the like how you fight a god.
She says,
We are but mortals, albeit interesting ones.
Yes.
Some guidance was required.
I have very little power left, as you can see. She kind of gestures to where her heart is literally just pouring out this gold, molten gold. As you can see,
It was
I
a
am,
weird, like, glub noise.
Yeah.
Oh.
as you can see, I
And
am
blub,
somewhat
blub.
diminished from before. The old gods were dying, missing or dead. I think I'm the last here in Asgard.
That answers that question.
Welcome.
There is, of course, Captain Ahab54. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Apparently, you're up in Asgard right now with Lady Melora. Good job, my friend.
You're also a god, apparently.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's-
God, you
Which
know
is
it,
pretty
man.
good.
It's not a bad, like, promotion. Just
He's actually the one who
become a
he's
god.
actually the one who he speared Melora, the enormous white whale that may have been swimming inconveniently when he was there.
Yeah, it's entirely true. It's that beautiful moment where he's been promoted from lurker to god. That's quite some step up.
It's a rare thing.
So yeah, she says, I myself can't fight King of Ravens.
If your arm grows too weak to carry your sword, milady, we will happily take it in your stead.
I barely know you.
I know you.
Welcome.
I
Well,
can
yes,
see
I am, of
more.
course, Ragnaroach. Welcome, Ragnaroach, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thanks so much for following.
That's
Now,
I look confused at her. I'm like, we're in the wrong place. This is Ragnarok. I am so sorry to interrupt. You go on dying. I'll leave you.
it's very embarrassing.
Oh, we're so sorry. We thought this is 22 Asgard Row. Oh, guys.
Every time.
Told you we should have asked for directions.
Indeed.
She says, I will die soon, and the old gods and Asgard will go with us.
Then take this monstrosity that is Moldark with you. If you are not there to maintain balance, what will come of the world? You are here, and you have always been here to maintain balance in the wild, yet the wield itself runs amok with his forces. He bends the minds of those against their own kin. I make no excuses for the things that my people, and by my people I mean humans and elves, have done to destroy the balance in this world, even casting the orcs out all those years ago. Some things we will never come back from, but this will be the ruin of us all if we do not gain your favor.
She nods and thanks Ziggy to the adventure. Welcome, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thanks so much for following. We're almost halfway there on our road to 3,000, guys. We're almost at
Wow.
about 2,950, which means we'd be really, really close to that 3,000 dream. So let's make it happen, chaps. And chappers.
I like the idea that Melora's like, I am the only person left in Asgard, and then like all these like people from chat
Oh,
just keep.
Ziggy's here, yes. And
Except for him.
Groundhog.
Hurry, him too.
Yeah, like, I guess following it right after Kane's sort of appeal to Melora, Alex will sort of like bow his head, not stepping forward, so not at all trying to overstep or get in the way. He's far more confident in what Garen or Kane might be able to do, given Kane's sort of knowledge and worship of Melora and Garen's sort of more apt religious knowledge. But Alex will say, just to echo what Kane was saying, that your nature, milady, is known to be no sentimentalist. She does not cuss it nor pamper us or our world. We see the world, and as we must, see it as rough and surly, and we shan't mind the drowning of one woman or man as it swallows ships as the simplest grain of dust. Your power is not simply in your arms, but in the world that you know that you inhabit. If you can't arm us with yourselves, with your presence, give us something. Knowledge, secrets, some way to wield your power.
She nods and smiles kind of weakly. And of course she does thank Death Raider 78 for falling. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, so just 3 away from being halfway there, boys.
Wow.
The road to 3,000 is becoming a lot shorter. So she says, she nods and says, I have always appreciated the will of men. I see it before me now. And you're kind too. She looks to Garen and looks to Kane as well.
We're a diverse group. Let's put it that way.
You know the old ones.
Of them, I've
She
not had the pleasure.
looks to Kane. I can smell them on you.
Oh, those old ones.
Yeah. Oh, those guys. Right, I can explain. Kane says, I have only been blessed with a brief encounter, but their knowledge far outweighs my own, so does their skill and, well, their power. Although something terrible happened just before we were brought here by your guardian. I am no longer sure I am welcome in their coven. I will undoubtedly be hunted down by them, much to my despair.
Long ago they left this plane. They exist now in the astral realm, free of the troubles of Tonica. I could send you there, 3 of you. You'd be away from all of it. Never again you'd have to worry. It would be the easy path. And I offer it to you, before I tell you of the alternatives.
With the greatest of respect, I have never been granted the easy path to walk. I have my companions. It would not be one we would be accustomed to.
Garen will channel some in his inner preacher and go, we are men of the broken kingdoms, milady. We always walk the broken path.
If nothing else, in similar deference and respect, my lady. Never been one to make a decision without hearing both sides of an argument.
You know of the gatekeeper here?
It came up.
We've heard tales.
Came like legit. It's just like it came up in conversation.
I have the power to tame this beast. But, and she kind of looks down around her, I'm not going anywhere in this state. I would use the last of my power on this earth, in this realm, to help you. But first, I need you to bring a Tarrasque to my doorstep.
Sorry.
Which I appreciate.
This is me, not Garen.
It's not an easy
so
feat.
Okay, Garen, I think, takes that fairly stoically, and just he goes, milady, that is an easier task said than done. I'm rather hoping you have a suggestion.
I have some help I can offer. Though it will weaken me. And she looks up at the kind of gap in the rubble in the ceiling, and you see a storm begin to grow very quickly. Of course, Garen is probably very cooled to this, and there's this sudden violent roll of thunder, which is the only kind of precursor before this bolt of lightning comes down and strikes the ground right in the center, right by get through the gap in the ceiling upon the altar in the room, and it crackles over it, crawling towards the ground, and until it reaches and kind of spreads out and hits the 3 of you, and each one of you can choose one statistic and raise that to 20. You also gain an additional blessing, which is a nat 20 from the lady. And that is thanks to Ira Gwen, by the way. Thanks so much, Gwen. If you want
That's awesome.
Gwen!
So choose a stat. Raise it to 20. And the lightning bolt is in fact kind of golden, and as you see it, the pace of her heartbeat increases, which means more gold flows out of her around the floor at this point.
Oh dear.
It's
What do I
getting
raise?
involved.
I'm gathering all the blood colors. I got black, I got red, I got gold. I don't know what to raise here.
No, me neither.
Does this
wisdom-
go to demigods as well?
My wisdom is already 20.
Yeah, I'm raising my wisdom to 20 because it was definitely not 20.
Fair. Do I pump my charisma and give Garen the silver tongue required to be a crazy preacher, or do I pump his strength to 20 and heft boulders at things?
Up to you.
I think we should each describe like the sensation our character feels when this stat gets to 20. So like pick which ones we want, but like give like some sense of what that experience is like.
Alright, so let me know who chooses, who gets it first, or who decides.
I've already chosen. There was only one real
Does this
choice.
go to just those three?
I PM'd you called. You can.
Ah.
Give away a secret.
Well, so one of you go first because I'm undecided.
So who's ready? Who's decided?
I am, I guess.
So go ahead, Josh.
Plus 5, right?
All the way up to 20. One stat up to 20.
Yeah, all the way
Yeah,
up
but it's
to
a 5. It's a
plus-
5 ability bonus.
Yeah, it gives you a +5.
Yeah, sorry.
So instead of sort of like a bolt of lightning that grants you immense strength or anything like that, Kane has never really. He's already got strength and dexterity. That's never really been what he has been fascinated with. What hits him is he has a vision, a really vivid vision, and suddenly he realizes he is seeing through the eyes of someone completely different. And he realizes he's on an ancient battlefield, that stuff that you may have heard about, or maybe you guys probably haven't, but Kane like grew up on this stuff. Like, this is myths that died out centuries ago, and he realizes he's staring through the eyes of one of the elder vampires, and just for a brief moment he gains the knowledge of everything they experienced in that moment, and all their experience and wisdom, and their histories just open up to him. And I am going to drop that on my intelligence, and I have intelligence 20, and suddenly I have, like, my mind is just, it's like a door has been opened, and I suddenly feel like a whole new person. I have a whole new perspective on the world.
Nice. Awesome. Who next is ready, I guess?
So I'm actually changing my mind because I think this fits more with the sort of general trajectory that Alex has been on, sort of moving away from being diplomatic, becoming increasingly impatient and more sort of directive in his action. And also, of course, the gradual transformation that he's been going through. That's kind of this half. Sometimes he turns into some kind of a goat creature. Sometimes he's human. He's got this broken horn. So what I'm going to say is, as this lightning strikes the floor and sort of curls up, Alex is going to be put into some pretty racking pain. He's going to drop to his hands and knees. He's going to be sort of screaming as this lightning is like whipping around all of his limbs. And I'm going to give myself strength 20 as Alex turns into like a purified form of his were self. And if you're cool with it, Will, just for flavor, I'm going to say that I no longer shift back and forth.
Yeah.
Alex is just now the like large-sized sort of dude that he was. The strength is sort of perfect because that's how much strength he had when he was shifted. But we'll say his other ram's horn like grows back like it materializes, like crystallizes, and then sort of solidifies on his head. So he gets his horn back, and he is, now fully into his were form, never to transform back again.
Awesome. This is now his final form. All right then. Finally, Finbar.
So Garen, the process of being born in a storm is coming to its conclusion.
I mean, you've been struck by a lightning bolt here.
Yeah,
A couple times.
I think this is the third
Yep.
time.
And this one isn't even your own one this time.
Yeah, by contrast, the first time gave him his powers, the second time was from his own powers, and the third time, so he was covered in like scars and all manner of wounds and the markings of being beaten as a young child because he's a monster. And you see like the golden light like kind of flickering over his body, and like it heals these lightning scars away. His eye that was misted over clears, and Garen, the sensation of him in the room becomes more solid. Unlike a person who is, Garen has always had strong beliefs, but you can feel this like conviction rolling off him now. Like his voice rumbles more as he talks, and he cuts through. Like, I think he just kind of stops and slicking his hands like, well, and then his voice cuts through like you're hearing more. And yes, I have raised his charisma to 20 as Garen becomes able to project his will with strength of lightning.
Awesome. And finally, we're gonna fluff this one as Elvis. I mean, Elvis is a herald of the dead, so he's kind of a demigod at this point. So when he returns to the world of Atonica, or in fact Asgard, he's doesn't wield all the kind of deathly powers that he owns in his own realm of existence, because the dude fucking owns a realm. But when he goes into someone else's, it's like walking into someone else's house. You're in your best behavior, and some of his powers are muted. However, this is kind of the Elvis is still a fucking badass because he's a herald of a dead and a demigod whilst in Asgard. So what is his stat increase going towards?
He's still an asshole. He still knows everything he did. He is intelligence 20. So
Of
yep,
course.
he is still a wisecracking know-it-all.
Yep. All right then.
He's always thinking. He's always thinking of the punchline before they're done talking.
Yep. So as this happens and you kind of all go into your kind of like Power Ranger awesome new stuff happens to your bodies, you like suit up and all his
Hello, Mav.
yeah, and all his golden rays come down as you're struck by this golden lightning. The goddess kind of smiles at you, looking at you and how you guys have changed, and she says, "This should be of some help, but information is of course more powerful than anything else. I can tell you where the gatekeeper is on this plane and direct you there.
That would be a good start.
Convincing it to come with you in its current state will be difficult."
Wow. Who said we? When do we ever take the easy route?
What state is that, my lady?
Dying. Like me. Like everything around us.
Our understanding of the creature was that it could not die.
Indeed, whilst this plane of existence is still around us, the creature is bound to the soul of Asgard. But when I die, everything else will too, and Asgard will cease to exist. A new star will be born. New gods will rise.
The cycle continues. Understood. Well,
Doesn't sound like we have a lot of time then.
I
Nothing
have
new?
but days, or I give out.
Alex will look to Garen and like go down on one knee and like gesture to his shoulder.
Garen kind of like smiles and goes, he just grins. And yeah, there's none of the broken teeth and all that jazz. It's like just perfect pearly whites. And yeah, climbs aboard. Well, let's go.
Alright then.
Q, does she tell us roughly the direction?
She gives you a heading.
Q.
And as you guys kind of head out, you see the Guardian is back there. It's a blonde, OT'd warrior, 7 feet, heavy armor on, just standing guard outside the door. He looks at you with sad eyes, despite his kind of outwardly scary visage. And he looks at you guys and says, "So where do you travel?"
To find the Guardian, friend. We bring him to your mistress to see if she cannot sick him upon our mutual enemy.
Will you ride with us, Guardian?
My place here is at her side. I cannot leave it. Well, I feel myself weakening. And he looks kind of a bit more kind of pallid and sweaty than he was before.
Oh.
We don't have long.
Guardian, hold true to your cause. We shall see you in this life or the next.
Yeah, he says, "No, one thing I've never thought about. Where do gods go when they die?"
Storms break, winds scatter. Someday they reform into a new one.
Take heed. Travel safely, there are strange things about.
Alex will give a huff.
Go swiftly, friends, and return with the gatekeeper.
Alright.
Alex will make a bit of a quip to Kane and say, "Keep up if you can, old man," and give you bardic inspiration.
Nice. And he says, "Go swiftly, I sense darkness drawing near. Do not trust its purpose."
Yeah, Garen just solemnly nods. And yeah, a hop, skip, and a bound later.
Yeah.
So Alex says, "Keep up if you can, old man," and then bounds off in the bearing that we have.
Nice. As you guys head off, we're going to cut back to Elvis, but I remind you guys, we are just 3 or 4 follows away from halfway to our road to 3,000, so if you haven't followed, hit that follow button and join us today in our adventure. Make sure that you check in for all of our shows. We've got 9 shows a week currently, a 24-hour D&D stream happening this Saturday. It's our 1 year of Encounter. It's a very special time, and I've got a lot of surprises in store for you guys on that 24-hour stream, actually. I've been doing some secret things today, just in preparation to throw some surprises at you. Hit that follow button and join us to catch all of those hot, off the press, exclusive things. I didn't say it. You guys.
Restraint is good. Every now and again, restraint is good.
Restraint is good. Yeah, I'm learning.
Exclusive. Damn it! I said.
Oh, slunk.
Ah!
You head out, and we're gonna cut back to Elvis Osborne. So Elvis,
Yes.
how does Elvis travel through the plains? What is his kind of method? Does he fly in on a winged steed? Does he just break a tear through reality, or does he just simply appear? What's his kind of...
Well, last time we saw him, he was on a boat, on like a little rowboat that he's probably never used a rowboat before. Actually, no, that's a lie. Season 1, we had a rowboat.
I thought you were going to name the episode, and I was like,
Had a rowboat.
Jesus, he's a good memory. It's like, Season 1, Episode 6, 2 hours in.
2 hours in. But yeah, so he I just imagine kind of like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory scene. He's just like, and it's like around him, his environment is changing, like these like crazy colors and like flickering of light as he's just like going from realm to realm. But upon entry, he's just gonna beach his boat into the new realm. So like wherever they are, probably nowhere near water, a boat is going to appear with him on it. He's just going to step off. There's gonna be like dead, rotting bones in the boat, and it's just like this. Maybe it's like a cast iron boat. It doesn't make sense to why it floats, but it's like this gothic
Drow spikes.
yeah, like drow spikes, kind of ashen metal. Yeah, and so that's what happens here. Clang, and you're like, oh look, and he just steps up, and that's probably how he enters the plane.
So you guys see this little gnome appear in front of you.
Yeah, Alex is immediately gonna like drop into a stance to get ready to charge.
Yeah, Garen like pulls his staff and like tumbles off of the back of Alex, kind of awkwardly lowering into like a stance, wrapping his invisible clogs around his hand, ready to throw some lightning at this guy.
Kane is going to pause and check Elvis out, specifically because,
How you
like,
doing?
Specifically the
yeah,
butt.
how you doing?
Checking out
Yeah,
ass.
just come back from Nilfheim, and I just want to ask, like,
Now all I hear is Nilfheim, by the way.
now that we return to the mortal plane, how does he look? Is he still slightly pallid and
Oh, yeah.
His eyes are still sunken in. He probably hasn't slept ever since we last saw him 8 months ago. And he does still have like that wisping, like his white goatee and mustache still wisp as if they were white smoke.
Cool. In which case, I'm going to.
He wears that giant bone helm still. He doesn't have the cloak on anymore, but he is wearing like an old harness.
Cool. Okay.
Underneath, and like a long kilt. Also vest.
Yeah. Well, in which case, I'm going to see if Will allow me, given the divine boon I just got, which was like, essentially like forbidden ancient knowledge. Can I roll a history to see if I can identify this guy as the Herald of the Dead?
Yeah, roll
It's
me.
not much
It'd be
history.
a religion check. in
Or
fact.
religion?
Yeah,
Whichever
be a
one.
we have
religion
current
check.
events. Rolling current events. Maybe
I'm
that.
rolling I'm rolling plot here. It does.
Would that be like a religion or?
Yeah, it'd be a religion check.
Cool.
Have you read the stars and seen the arrival of the new Herald of Death?
Yes.
A 23. I love having this intelligence buff.
He's to do. He's not from this plane. He is from the plane of Nilfheim. Hence, why all of his skin looks so weird. He's not undead,
Yeah.
so you can't sense the undead in him. He's something else. So you'd have a suspicion. It could be Herald. He could be the Herald of the Dead. He could just be one of the Raven King's servants. Either way, he is tied intricately to the plane of Nilfheim.
I hold up a cautioning hand to the party and I say, "Do you come to do his bidding?"
Who's bidding?
The Raven King. He sent you, no?
No, he didn't send me. I mean, I'm here to stop him. I mean, if I'm gonna be a god, I need to kill him so he can, so I can. rise.
I'm gonna insight that shit.
Yep.
Nat 20, baby.
Yep. So he doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't mean that he's a good person or a good creature.
We know he wants to kill Moldark so he can be a god.
Yeah.
The afterwards of that?
He wants to be Moldark 2.0.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Just, you know.
It's time for his promotion.
Cool, so he says that he wants to kill Moldark. Alex will be like tracking that, obviously that he's not lying, and Alex will follow up and say, we ride to the gatekeeper. If you are with us, we also seek to stop Moldark.
No. So what do we know about this gatekeeper? What are they like?
Tarrasque.
What?
It is a Tarrasque.
I turn to Alex and I'm like, we really need to talk about how we introduce that into the equation.
You mean like it's a really bad? Like I
Giant
can't even.
creature,
I'm sorry. So it's
coming towards-
the Tarrasque, or it's like it's a Tarrasque of a situation because that's pretty bad. I mean,
The breaker of worlds, the bane of all things material, is here.
If you imagine Moldark Now imagine his big brother, except infinitely more pissed off and infinitely more able to actually be here and fuck your shit.
Thank you so much to Ira Gwen, who donates £40, and she says a little aftershock of lightning strikes the four as they meet. As it crackles over them painlessly and recedes, they discover they are wearing gold trim +1 magic versions of their current armor. Also grants advantage on saves versus fear.
Oh, baby.
Thanks so much, Gwen.
Feel we might need those.
Hello.
I'm like,
Hello.
I'm like, listen, it's the Tarrasque. He's infinitely bad and will absolutely fuck it up. On the other hand, we all draw swords and like He-Man style, we get
Form of Fae.
So I'm gonna add something else onto this, something extra cool if
Yeah.
that's okay, Gwen. So like the lightning kind of comes down and strikes you, but the lightning is being carried by these Asgardian warriors, these kind of angels essentially, and they're very similar to the ones that you called on the horn before. And they come down. They actually have angel wings, and they're flying down, and they're carrying the lightning with them, almost on like a trail as it's coming down. And they're coming at the speed of
Zip line.
lightning.
Okay, so they're moving towards us at the speed of lightning.
Speed of lightning.
Hey.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, and they basically, you look up and then you're struck by this creature, and as it comes down, as this lightning hits you, as this thing hits you, you're expecting, oh my god, I'm about to be hit by a bus, and instantly die. Instead, this creature kind of just, as it penetrates, well not penetrates, but as it kind of, that's a bad word, it's a trigger, as it like fuses onto you, the kind of armor from it just kind of melds itself around you, and forms, and this creature like gives its soul into the armor that forms around you, and it basically just sort of like upgrades your own armor with like bunch of kind of angelic kind of stuff happens. You come like transformer mode, and you go into kind of
I thought goat barding was already cool, but this is sweet.
yeah.
bots. Let's
Can-
roll out.
Can we now just be like, we all lock arms and then like mold into like one player character?
Right, robot. Here we come, Tarrasque.
No, we need to find our fifth member, so that we can form the Megazord.
I've been trying to find mine for years.
And you hear like a kind of whisper on the wind, which is, and take this too, from the Laura, babe.
Do the wings stay?
That's what I'm curious about.
They kind of form into the armor. They're kind of like locked in place, kind of around it, almost like a cloak. You feel like they could be like kind of activated, but this isn't even its final form of the armor. It's kind of in like stasis, kind of. This is what happens when the angels are just like, we're sleeping.
Okay, so we've got Falcon suits, but we need to learn how to turn them on.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
fucking sweet.
I'm so hyped right now. Garrett is becoming an angel.
Yeah. Such an angel.
Beautiful angel.
Apparently, yeah, Elvis's gold armor is actually rose gold because he's
Yeah.
found.
Temperature.
He's cool like that. Alright guys, I'm gonna need to take a 2-minute break because I've realised I've been going for 4.5 hours.
Nice.
So have a scene and just catch me up on whatever happens.
Okay.
There's some
Okay.
reactions to this armor.
So,
What the hell just happened? What are these? This was not what I was wearing. This is... Oh boy.
well, it's not my usual style, but if we're going to go into final battle, we might as well.
Final battle? What does that mean? What do you mean final battle?
I look at
It's
the
just the
part.
beginning of a lot. I mean, if
I
we're
look at-
looking at Moldark, it's just the beginning of a long thing.
If we win, it's not final. Agreed.
Yeah.
I
Small
look
one
at-
makes
I
a
look at
point.
the gnome and I gesture to like my new resplendent armor and I say, when it comes down to it, I'll take it.
Kill yourself.
I hate you.
And then like the wings just close around my neck. The Asgardian.
You are not worthy of these gifts. Be choked out by
my
+1 metal. Oh,
So,
dear.
how
do you know Moldark?
How do I know Moldark? So, funny story. I was there when he rose to power.
You,
Garen is kind of speechless.
Yep, it was me and this other guy named Guy. Yeah, his name was Guy. And and then like Gwendolyn. I don't know. Yeah, and they were going after the Raven Queen, who you remember her, right? She's been around for a while. Yeah, she wanted us to find some sort of stone or something weird, and I needed her to talk to her so I could bring my twin back. He's been dead for years, and I could bring him back, but it wasn't like for long until he turned into a bone dust again. So I wanted to speak with her so she could bring back my twin, and then Guy and Gwenda Jendelin, whatever their name is, we went in to meet her with the Soul Stone. We went to the Feywield, and that was crazy. And then we came back, and then we presented her the Soul Stone. And then this guy, I think his name was, he had in his head Moldark, and then Moldark, I guess, came out and then exploded or like fused his brain and soul into the Soul Stone, or the Source Stone. And then when she touched the Source Stone, she exploded. And then he rose to power, taking the mortal form from this girl, Gwendolyn, and then now killing the Raven Queen, ascending to power. Thus why I need to destroy him so I could ascend to power. You know? I mean, if I ascend to power, I'll just go back to my bone place and hang out there. I mean, there's no reason to... doesn't work, obviously.
His fall...
Doing it wrong.
His fall concerns more than your pride and ambition. If we do not stop Moldark, there will be nothing left of this plane. Your bone world will become a little less populated.
Well, first it will become a whole lot more populated.
Yeah. I mean, that's it is hard because we got to feed all of them, and you know how hard it is to feed already dead people. They just complain, and then there's like, we can't just not feed them because they're just going to keep complaining.
At some point,
go anywhere. They're not going off. So
we shall have a discussion about metaphysics.
The greatest threat that Moldark poses to you is apparently immigration. That's what we've just
stop it.
Yeah, we should definitely build a wall
between
Anasterian.
Make you pay for it.
And the bone and Nilfheim, and we're gonna make the humans pay for it.
So to get us back and moving, because I do know that we're short on time before Melora dies or expires. Alex will sort of like give a bit of a nod. This seems legit. The rock an insight check. He's at least trusting Elvis for the purpose of this particular task, and he'll say, "We ride to taunt the Breaker of Worlds. We must bring it to the Lady Melora, for she
we're not killing it.
Power into it, so that we can wield the beast."
I think that's the first good laugh Garen has in weeks, is when he's like, "Are we not just going to kill it?" And it's like, "Oh man, you are a good friend to ride towards this with."
Oh, well, I mean, we could just kill it. I mean, I have numbers on my side, and I just like go, "Come on, guys!" And when I do this, like to the emptiness behind me, one skeleton rises out of the ground. And then I'm like, one? Are you kidding me? I had 500,000 before.
He's like
okay,
blown
right.
up. He's like, you see his like body start to like just disintegrate as like the kind of gold like fog around just like kind of encapsulates him, and the kind of deafness, like the deaf magic is just like dispersed.
Okay, you're right. It seems as if I will not be able to kill this thing. Okay, so let's lure it. All right. What do we have? We have a goat.
I'm just gonna move over and like kind of. How big is Elvis?
About 3 feet.
Okay.
Like good toddler size.
I kind of just while he's like rambling, I just kind of motion Alex over, and then when he turns around, just like pick him up as you would a small child.
Must be Anasterian.
Alex's other shoulder. Just like, there we go, small friend. Time is of the essence. You can ramble as we ride.
Okay.
Hang on, little one. And Alex bound off.
All right. So, as you see these angels launch themselves down onto you, and you have this brief conversation after about how awesome you guys look now. You head off once again, bounding through the streets of Asgard, and it does appear to be a city that you're in as you come out of this palace. It in fact appears to be a city the entire way across the planet, or what's left of the planet. And so Asgard is both heaven, it's also a star, and it's where gods live, and it's also just a city where the gods live and angels live as well. And you do in fact spot some Asgardian warriors kind of walking the streets, still patrolling, although they appear to be very tired and kind of lagging, as if they're not quite in reality at this point. They kind of flicker in and out of existence at times. You see houses, but of course the houses are houses for people who are potentially at very smallest angels being 7 feet, and at their highest gods who are 30 feet tall. And those are just the women as well, so who knows how tall the male gods are.
Hey.
And so there are giant structures the size of skyscrapers, really. Everything here is just absolutely huge in terms of architecture. And the styling is very, heavenly and well formed, although there's cracks running through everywhere. In fact, there's huge kind of tears in the fabric of the world. In fact, leading down into deep chasms below, which you have to kind of skirt around. There's no way you can jump across them. And as you're headed, also kind of easterly towards where the gatekeeper is, you hear this growl, and the growl begins to shake rubble from buildings and actually levels several walls as it just kind of reverberates through your bodies. It's like you're standing right next to a speaker at a festival or a gig. It just runs all the way through you. You can feel it kind of in your chest, the sound kind of bouncing around there, and this low growl of a creature in agony. Cool. You've got an agonizing death moan from a lizard or something, like a big dinosaur. There we go. Sounds a bit like that. If that were turned up to 11 and then
Sorry.
12 and then 17. It's okay, man. Not everyone can turn it up to 17. So yeah, turn up to Tarrasque. And that just kind of like wails through the streets and like unsettles fog as it goes. You're getting close.
Yeah, that's going to cause Alex to pick up his pace, I guess. Getting closer.
Yeah. And what's up, Jack? So yeah, you head over and continue running as you turn a huge street corner. The street corner is probably like half a mile long or something that you've been running around. And as you look, you see a terror, something which shouldn't exist on this planet, something which keeps the boundaries of reality in check, something which can even kill a god. And this creature is, it's the flood, it's the end, and nothing can stop any of you from relieving your bowels as you see this creature. There is
Whoops.
Magic, fear, true form.
in many directions. People are being sick at this point. It's simply something which is so terrifying that would break the mind of anyone who wasn't wearing armor, which had advantage against fear. So it just kind of hits you as you turn this corner, and you sense it first, and then you look at this creature, and it's the size of mountains. The girth of Wilsdonga, and you look at it. It has this red, scaly skin, which is pale in its kind of underbelly, and then it grows into these huge kind of chunks of armor. Each one an impenetrable suit, which works its way up his body, as if crafted by the finest blacksmith and fitted into place perfectly. It appears to have along it these speckled bits, these points and spikes coming through, big enough to spike a whole house upon it, or a whole village of people. It has huge horns growing from it, the horns of which make Alex's look like tiny little antennae, and it has a tail probably the length of the river running through Nilfheim, Elvis. It's absolutely gigantic and bigger still than you would possibly imagine could exist in this place. And its mouth, its maw, is open and wailing its own death toll as you look inside this creature's mouth, and all that you see is blackness and the inevitability of the end of times, as this giant T-Rex dinosaur is splayed out across the road, and it appears to be run through with a skyscraper, a cathedral, a huge tower with a huge point, which is running through this creature's belly. It's on the floor, but this huge thing, and it's the size of an ancient English cathedral, spike running all the way through its belly, and it appears to have just guts of the creature kind of strewn, leading from the tallest spire down, and there are there's activity, there's movement upon the creature, upon these guts. There appears to be people or humanoid creatures who are actually harvesting bits of these guts up for some purpose. They appear to be just like pulling them up, and there are hundreds of these people working in conjunction with the kind of spire. They are pulling the guts through, and every 5 seconds you hear a kind of heave, and then they pull the guts through, and the creature lets out another wail, and then they pull the guts through, and then they pull them through further and further and further, almost torturing this creature, or clearly torturing this creature as they do so. They are probably the size of Elvis. So they are kind of tiny specks that you can see. They look like ants on this creature. Well, there are hundreds of them, possibly thousands. Appear to be just ripping out the guts of this creature, slowly attempting to end it, or simply just to torture it in its agonizing kind of death throes. And this creature, he has got very small eyes. I say very small in comparison to the rest of his body. These orbs are probably the size of a small football stadium or soccer stadium, and they burn out, and they actually radiate this orange fire, and similar to Sauron's all-seeing eye, they burn, and they have seen the destruction of worlds, and they have seen more than any creature should have to see, and that is the gatekeeper which lies before you. The gatekeeper of these worlds. It's
So I guess as we turn this corner, we're all gonna be sort of racked, to an immediate halt. I guess on seeing this, Alex, knowing that Elvis sort of hasn't received any kind of pep or anything like that from him yet. I know I've been trying to inspire as best as I can, both Garen and Kane. Alex is going to read out one of his sort of more commonly referred to or used passages, but the tenor of it is a little bit different given the context, and it's probably the first time you would have heard his voice as clear as it was before his transformation. Now he's able to have that kind of composure. He's finally able to maintain his sort of charisma, even in his beast form. So it has a bit of a harrow to it, given that it's this sort of lower growling voice. And he'll sort of stutter his way through with his companions beside him before they step forward or decide what to do. Remembering that the third excellence of man is his courage, the perfect will which no terrors can shake, which is attracted by frowns and threats and hostile armies, nay, needs these to waken and fan its energies into our purer flame. Never quite itself are we until the hazard is extreme, and then we are serene and fertile, and all our powers play well.
Kane draws an arrow, knocks it in his bow, turns to you and says, "I am no man. I am death incarnate." Roars, and I'm going to rock my nat 20 to kill whoever the fuck is organizing this chant pulling the guts out of this creature, he dies first.
Okay.
Kane has no time for chit chat. Kill things.
Alright then. So yeah, we
Sorry,
Down for this.
Elvis, you can have inspiration, D8 bardic inspiration.
Thank you.
So on a nat 20, we see, what's his face? You.
Kane?
Kane, yes. You knock an arrow and launch it out across the skies towards the creature, and one of these humanoids, like I say, are just tiny ants at this point. You probably don't even see him fall, because he's kind of that far away on this creature. And it just kind of goes down. The gut pulling doesn't appear to have stopped.
I
there's
don't
still this
care.
rhythmic pulling and writhing of guts.
Okay, well,
Yes.
is it feasibly possible that I can make some kind of perception check? Basically, I'm looking for squiggly black tattoos.
Sure.
On
Roll me a
these
perception check.
little scurrying creatures. Where's... I have left my dice roller somewhere. There you are. Scout lucky, never mind then. So, check sheet, score... where's the button? There's the button.
There it is. Tap it.
19.
19. Sure, you look for these kind of black marks, and I must say, from this range is difficult.
Yeah,
but,
I was going like,
yeah.
I want to pick out if they're orcs, but like, maybe I can see something.
These things aren't orcs. They are some humanoid creature, possibly like gnomes at this point. Not to say that orcs aren't humanoid creatures, but they do indeed have this blackness upon them, these kind of black marks, and you can also tell they're probably the kind of the rhythmic military nature in which they all do this in exact time is very kind of similar to the nature that we saw the orcs using before.
Yeah, kind of hive mind.
Mine sort of stuff.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess I like kind of squint, focusing my newly clear eye, and then go, servants of Moldark. Let's write them down. See if we can't get close to the creature, ease its pain.
So these things, just again, are kind of on its back,
Right.
kind of crawling all over it like ants. You know the way that ants, like the thousands of them, will just devour a larger prey. It seems to be what they're doing, very slowly and rhythmically, just pulling out guts and making it scream. So they're not kind of in your way. You're kind of down this long street. The head of the Tarrasque is pointed towards you, it's kind of burning orbs staring down at you in kind of pain. The immediate way onto the creature's back would either be, I guess you could try and climb like up its mouth, perhaps not advisable. You could go
have a
around
solution
and get
to
up
that
to its
problem.
teeth. There are also ways up buildings as well.
So seeing that, I kind of say, let's ride them down, and kind of wrapping the divine focus comes back into view, and I put a hand in the middle of Alex's back, and I will cast Bull's Strength on him, which gives him advantage on all strength checks and doubles his carrying capacity. So, it's like, jump true, friend. I'll be here holding on for dear life.
The last detail about the Tarrasque, actually, which I forgot, is that's the only thing not floating likely on the surface of the world. It's the only thing which has any semblance of gravity to it.
Any semblance of a weight.
Indeed.
That's cool. I like that. That's scary.
Yeah, all right. Fuck. Alex, I guess Elvis is still riding Alex.
Yep.
Alex will ask, little one, you conjured a friend before.
Yep. Ralph. His name's Ralph.
Do your powers extend to manipulating stone?
Stone? No, that's dwarves, buddy. I'm a gnome.
Okay, Alex will sort of like take Elvis off and then look to the three of you and say,
Is everybody pushing me and carrying me?
you three will somehow need to deal with the church. I'll get it moving.
Alrighty.
Oh, Kane's on it.
Yep. Making a run for it.
Cool. So you guys have to get the church out of its stomach somehow, and I will kite it, I guess, is the plan out of character.
Yeah. I've got that as a concept.
Yep.
Struggling with the execution. We'll work it out.
All right.
I've leveled buildings with lightning before.
Yeah.
Cool. Alex is gonna fucking charge, stampede. He's gonna charge straight towards this creature. I guess I'll use the buildings.
Yeah.
So he's gonna bound up to buildings to try and get to the highest point he can before making the jump to try and get on the thing's head. Really, not really trying as much for the back. I've got advantage on strength checks, but I also have a nat 20 from XP's overrated, and there's a nat 20 that I got from Scarred Star as well. So I'm going to use one of the two of those nat 20s.
Great. Critical man.
To bound forward with this bull's strength, this extra capacity, and make a double stomp Hulk leap from the top of one of these buildings. That'll probably send it sort of rippling a little bit. It'll cause some shaking in the building underneath. Take this double bound to try and land on the Tarrasques, sort of on its head, I suppose, and grabbing onto one of the spikes or anything that I can. I'm sure the scales are actually so big that I'd be able to grab onto them. It's giant slabs. Yeah.
So we see Alex kind of bound up and boing, off one of these buildings and launch himself with titanic strength over onto the back of the Tarrasque, land on one of these scales and kind of grab on. You can start pulling yourself up this creature. You're probably, several 1,000 yards away from the kind of main body of pullers at this point, and from the cathedral itself.
The plan for me is I want to be near its face. I want to try and kind of get in front of one of its eyes so that it can see me.
So yeah, you kind of start working your way towards the eye of the beast. Let's cut to Kane and Garen, I guess. So what are you boys up to?
And Elvis waddling along, but a little way behind. We're legging it towards.
I guess the opening in its stomach where it's been run through by a church.
Yeah.
I'm sprinting as fast as I can to get there. That's my only focus right now. Is I'm heading
an
straight
athletics
towards it.
check sounds like it's in order.
Indeed, but I turn to Garen and I just say, I'll draw them away. You'll deal with the building. And he says that with some deal of finality. And yeah, I'm gonna athletics.
Alright then, so whilst you're finding that, I'll remind you guys, if you haven't followed, then we're currently battling Tarrasque, kind of, and it's people who are ripping the guts out from it, so if that won't make you follow, I don't know what will, or else we find Tarrasque gut pulling. So hit that follow button and join us if you haven't already, and hit that retweet on our current tweet to make a viewer decision happen. You guys get to decide anything which happens with this Tarrasque, and of course you can affect our game with nat 20s, wild magic surges, and Tarrasque affecting things through the donation stuff as ever. So what was our roll from you, Kane Hollow?
That'll be a 27. Not just a 27 though, that'll be a nat 20.
A nat 20. So we see Kane just heading off the speed of bats, and we'll say
Bat out of hell.
Bat out of hell, yeah. As we see Kane just almost take off, because he's running on slightly over the ground, because he's hovering over the ground. So we just see him take off through the air, almost swimming through the air at this point, and heading straight towards the the church and the guts of the creature. So Garen, what about you?
So I am running for. I run for the opening that gets me to this church. Whatever path that has been cleared by the actions of my two bolder comrades, I will leg it through that. What kind of obstacles are there? People between me and that? Am I going to have to fight some
There are
mind
no
control.
people in between you and the Tarrasque itself. It's an open street. It's just everyone's on the back of the creature.
Yeah, I mean more this church thing.
I mean, well, yeah. So the church is like inside of it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. It's fallen on top of it and crushed it, and the spike is like through the creature. So to get to it, you're not going through people, but you're gonna have to go through the guts to get within inside the church, if any of that still exists. The spires still exist, in which case you'd have to climb up onto the creature and somehow find your way into the spires. But you've no idea if there might be something within the guts, the church way to get up there somehow. Yeah, not sure.
The only skill I can think of that might apply here is I can like go medicine and try and like go. I have seen a stab wound when I was like a regular, like just kind of guy.
The puncture wound, it's gonna have a lot of bacteria on that thing.
Yeah, so like, I don't know whether medicine applies to Tarrasque biology.
So you're trying to.
I want to find. I don't know. I want to find a way to kind of the point where the church is, because it's a building.
Yeah.
It's not. If it's just a slab of rock, this thing could probably just shrug it off. So I just need to find the kind of connection point to where it's stabbing him and break the crap out of that. So I want to find the quickest way to that point.
Okay, roll me a medicine check. See if you can identify.
Is that medicine? All right, I'll take it.
Medicine check. Or I'd let you roll perception as well if you're just trying to have a look as well. That'd also work.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the medicine because I have a +8 to that. I'm gonna save my nat 20 because I feel like I might need that for
Bardic
the
inspiration if you need it.
sundering of a building.
Yep.
A 17.
Perfect number.
Perfect number. Nice.
You've got a D8 if you want it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think before, because I have to use it before he tells me if I succeed or fail. 17 is alright. Might be.
It's not like
I mean,
it's not like his
You
effort.
did just see Alex like jump on this thing's head, and it's like moving towards its face. If that is an impetus.
Yeah.
And might I also mention at this point,
I have a small waddling gnome next.
Elvis as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I want our route to work. So yeah, that's a 23 overall.
23 overall. That's a
23
success.
overall to get me to the place I need to be.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go within the creature. You can tell like it. You can tell it's like still stuck parts of it in there. It's like a bullet wound almost. You know, it's still got like the stuff in it, or like an arrow, more
Shrapnel.
likely for you. Oh, my abyss going to obviously. So yeah, you see that this is clearly affecting the creature still, and you're gonna have to do something to stop that from within the creature itself. You can start heading over there towards and running inside the creature itself to be able to do that.
That's the goal.
All right then. So let us take it back to Alex and Elvis, who are riding around doing their thing, coming towards.
Is Elvis on Alex's back?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys like hopped off and he stayed on. He goes,
I'm not allowed in churches.
so and he's riding around on Elvis, on Alex.
No. So yeah, you guys come towards the eye of the creature, and you're kind of like crawling your way across. I mean, like it's big enough for you to just walk across the scales because they're so huge and thick. So you can kind of just kind of shimmy across.
So thick.
Yeah, indeed. So you come towards the eye of the beast. What are you doing?
Fuck. I guess, yeah, Elvis, you can go first. I made the jump. I've got sort of a plan on what I can do, but you can have a first crack.
Okay.
You look into this orb, and all you see is hundreds of thousands of years of pain and torture.
Cool. So yeah, he takes out like a small, like a pouch of bone chunks, and he like splays them across his hand, and then he like starts to animate them, and they turn into a bone hand, and then he uses mage hand to just thrust the finger of this bone hand into the eye.
All right then. So, do you know what kind of roll
Sorry.
that might be? Let's have a look.
Your grand plan is to poke a Tarrasque in the eye.
Yeah, we need to kite it.
Beautiful.
That's how you do
All
it.
right.
It's Elvis. This is how he works.
Roll me just an athletics to see if you actually punch this thing's eye.
Okay. Oh,
Just
Yeah,
X out of it.
having to like hit it hard enough that it actually notices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
You
would
are-
it be Arcana because he's using the Mage Hand?
Oh yeah, if you're using Mage Hand, it needs your Arcana check, yeah.
I gladly use that. Okay, so
Mind swap with the Tarrasque, yeah.
did it
That'll do
say?
it.
Yes, +8. I don't know where it is. It's at the bottom. 14.
14. Nope.
You've got a D8. Oh, you already know. Never mind.
Yeah, I know.
You give it a
I-
tiny little.
Next time.
You give it a tiny little love tap. Doesn't appear to notice whatsoever.
we need something else.
Alex is gonna like look this thing in the eye, and he's gonna like spew. He's gonna like scream into this thing's eye, "Breaker of worlds, bringer of balance, in the name of Algan Nilo, do your work." And he's gonna headbutt this thing just like straight into the ground. So like, I guess it would be on like the eyelid in front of the eyes where Alex is standing, but he's just gonna like headbutt down. As
He can't- Alex, he can't hear you. That's not where they hear from their ears, not from their eye.
I'm casting Curse. I have inspiration. He has to make a save. The Tarrasque has to make a save. Can I use my inspiration to give it disadvantage because I don't have an active roll to have advantage on?
All right.
So he's got disadvantage on a Wisdom save, or he's cursed.
All right then. I'll give him a roll. So.
And I hope
disadvantage.
Tarrasques don't have good Wisdom.
Surely not. This thing's all stats are just like 2 and everything. The Tarrasque is really rubbish,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So rolled a 17. Disadvantage. Rolled a 16.
Should look up his stat block. It's so strong.
My spell save DC is a 15, so no good.
15. One off. Okay.
So not cursed, but does it like notice that I tried to like use a touch magic thing on its soul?
On its soul, it does, yeah. It kind of sneezes, which is a really, really big thing when you're on
Violent.
the body
That's a
of
bad
it.
sign. That's a bad sign.
It's like its
I'm
whole body
inside
just
this
like
creature and it sneezes.
its
That
whole
must be
body just kind of vibrates and rumbles, and all of you like have to like hold on to the side of this creature or something, lest it just completely throw you off and you're crushed. So it seems to have paid some attention to that attention, but overall hasn't kind of like turned its head. But yeah, back to Kane. Kane, what are you doing? You're muted. No, you're unmuted.
Drink.
Drink. So what are you doing, Kane?
Kane reaches the guts of this thing and looks up at all these things that are swarming all over it, causing it harm, size, and he doesn't know who to pray to. He doesn't know. He's never had to pray to anyone ever before, ever. He's never known. He doesn't really have any friends, so he just sort of says,
Pray to Algan.
"May the gods grant you speed. May you all forgive me." And then he looks up at everyone else and says, "And may you fear me," to all these creatures. And Kane drops down to one knee
And proposes
and
to
drinks
Tarrasque.
the blood of the Tarrasque.
Alright then. So you go have a nice old nosh on a Tarrasque.
Because that's fucking smart.
So
What did you do to
drink-
the Tarrasque?
Drinks his blood. He's a vampire after all, so... Oh, half vampire.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
start drinking the blood of the Tarrasque, and you're well within his gut system as Garen Stormforge runs in, surrounded by like a tapestry of guts and different horrible kind of bloody organs within here. Like his whole side's been torn out. Garen, you can see that the church itself is like crumbling and kind of half crushed within its organs, which are kind of like pulsing and like breathing as his body moves, and the church slowly gets more crushed every time it breathes or when it sneezes, and you hear this whole rumbling, like blood just kind of comes from the ceilings, and worse, like weird things come down. As you see your friend Kane just kind of drinking the Tarrasque blood, so no immediate effect. I mean, the creature has literal gallons upon thousands of gallons of blood within it.
Does my heart explode? That's what I'm
I'm
worried.
not worried about the effect like one tiny human-sized meat sack has when he has a little sup out of this creature. I'm worried about what the blood of this thing does to him.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that problem right now. I have to deal with a giant church.
Yeah, so you see the church. I mean, it's reachable,
Yeah.
but it's being crushed.
Okay, so Garen is a doctor. Like, he might be a weird hedge doctor, but he does actually have medical training. So first thing I need to do is I probably need to get rid of the main body of the church lying on this wound.
Right.
And then pump this thing full of so much healing magic. I could start a second one of its hearts. So I feel like I shouldn't break the habit of a campaign, and I should hit it with lightning.
Okay then. Seems like the only reasonable thing to do, really.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of run up to kind of climb out of the wound and look over the this like church.
You notice the church is dark and black and it's got ravens all over it.
Of course it does. I feel I knew that was gonna happen.
It's clearly the Church of the Raven King.
Is it really? Yeah. That will cause me a moment of pause because I've had my magic blocked and thrown back at me enough times now that I'm just gonna. So I'm gonna. This is a thing embedded within the body of a. Actually, know what I'm gonna do? I am going to cast Dispel Magic on this church.
Alright then.
And spend my natural 20 which allows me to break the magic of gods, man. So
Dude.
Well, sorry. By the rules, it allows me to dispel 9th level spells.
So yeah,
by hope and prayers, it allows you to dispel the magic of gods.
Indeed, yeah. So you cast a spell magic over this thing, and as we look, we see the church, like a bunch of its like gargoyles and weird like grotesque things just like fall off of it. These like ritual totems which are keeping spells in place, like wards in place, and they just kind of like crumble and fall off as your magic kind of just casts them off the top of this church. So now, seemingly, it's been dispelled.
So it's now painted stone rather than like, I don't know, because those tattoos like squiggled, didn't they? So like we could almost see the birds like really slowly flapping, and now they're just like paintings, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, please.
So kind of Garen does that, looks up and goes, well, throws his hands in the sky. Bring the thunder. So the clouds start to gather as I guess the next person gets their turn.
All right then. So Elvis, your turn.
Elvis kind of like pats Alex.
Okay. It's not working. Just back up. Here, you know what? Bring me close to its ear. That's that over there. This is its eye. Bring us over there.
And then we get over there. I whisper into its ear.
And I go, hey, buddy, it's okay. It seems as if you're hurt and you're gonna die here, but you're not. We know that. We both know that. You're not gonna die. You're the Tarrasque. You're the gatekeeper of worlds, okay? You're gonna stand up. All right, you're gonna stand up. Why don't you get up, and then we'll take it baby steps from there. Just because there's a tower through your chest doesn't mean it's gonna hold you down. You know, you're the Tarrasque. There's one of you. Okay, man. Let's be friends here. Let's help each other. I'm gonna cast friends and do my natural 20.
Nice.
So I'm gonna try to be friends with it, and then after the minute or the concentration breaks, he becomes hostile towards me.
Nice. So I've made a great friend in MLG Bobson. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thanks so much for putting us one step closer towards the dream, boys, towards our road to 3,000. If you guys are at home sitting there thinking about clicking that button, then click it for us. It means a lot more than you might think.
Why does the word friends in this campaign have no good connotations?
Yeah.
Just fucking terror.
Awesome. So yeah, on that nat 20, you hear this kind of this inhuman roar as this beast just goes, and it begins to attempt to stand whilst this thing is through its body. You can only imagine that this is the most painful thing that anyone could ever attempt to do. It's like
Not just like a blade through you,
a
it's chunky,
church.
like it's perch. Yeah, it's
it's got spikes. It's got everything on it is spiky because it's
hooks,
like mold.
gargoyles,
Yeah.
just
Things
yeah.
and it's falling off and tearing inside its organs, and so it's got loads of internal bleeding going on. Fucking as a vampire within eating it. Amongst all these things, as they continue to just like pull on these guts further and further out. By the way, they appear to be pulling out the church as it kind of comes with the guts. Because it's such a like tangled mess of intestines and guts and horrible organs. As they kind of pull, like more of the kind of spire kind of like comes out, more of it kind of begins to exit its exit the Tarrasque body, but they're kind of thrown everywhere as this huge creature roars up and takes to its feet essentially. And it forms a bond with Elvis. This creature is one of the elder creatures, which Elvis may know about. It's one of a few beings on this earth which are older, or as old as the earth itself, or as old as time itself. And as such, it's got more to it than just a simple beast, obviously. I mean, this creature is clearly very intelligent. It forms a telepathic bond with Elvis Osborne, and speaks to him in a pained voice, and it says, "Please, I want to die."
There's nothing. Why would you want to die? I mean, like that would be cool though, because then you'd be in Nilfheim, and then you'd be at the Tarrasque. No, we don't. Nilfheim's not big enough. We're not big enough to house you.
Please, as it like roars, as more of this like cathedral comes out of it, as it pulls itself to its hind legs. Can you quickly, all of you, make me acrobatic saves? Sorry, dexterity saves, rather.
Sure.
Because
Son of a bitch. Why would you give me dexterity saves?
because you're on the back
Here's
of the Tarrasque.
inspiration.
Or you're inside the Tarrasque.
14 for Alex.
Alright, sounds good. I like that number.
No, that's an 11. Oh no.
At 11, even better.
I'm trying to help this guy.
Kane, what about you?
22.
Good. And finally, Elvis.
16.
16. Alright then, so we see both Alex and Elvis on the back of Alex begin to fall. And Garen, you're inside the tear of this creature, and the tear is beginning to be lifted off the ground as it comes up. And we see just like being sent sprawling, starting to come out of this creature. And I know you guys are in the, of course, epic hero phase of clutching on by your fingernails at this point, as you're kind of being tossed to and fro by this creature, and all of you kind of out, other than Kane, who appears to be kind of stuck in there by his teeth.
Kane is going to, at this point, throw all caution to the wind, draw every arrow in his quiver, like in a clutch, and as basically enchant as many of them with this vampiric energy that they have, and he just stabs them as like a single like clutch of arrows into this thing, and is holding on by his teeth and by this clutch of
Like
arrows.
the entire quiver full.
Yep.
Nice.
What I'm going for.
Did we just make a vampire Tarrasque?
Can you
Wait.
can you roll me a Constitution saving throw, by the way, Kane?
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Like, I was waiting for my heart to explode.